Did you know that every year, the United States generates approximately 230 million tons of solid waste? That's right, 230 million tons! Did you also know that the average college student produces 640 pounds of solid waste, including 500 disposable cups and 320 pounds of paper? According to the EPA, less than a quarter of this is recycled. The rest is either incinerated or buried in landfills, which could contaminate groundwater. We could reuse or recycle more than 70% of the landfill waste. For this reason, the Community Health Club of UMass Lowell is currently involved in a recycling program called Zero Sort Recyclution.
Recyclution was actually a term and a whole campaign devised by our our art department. Some art students developed it as an idea to promote recycling. The recycling program is the Zero Sort program, which is basically a co-mingled program where anything that's recyclable, paper, plastic, tin, any recyclable material can all be co-mingled into one barrel. It is then separated at a vendor. Our vendor is Casella Waste Services. They handle all our solid waste. They then separate it and then bring it back into the mainstream market. We've had some very good starts and stops of recycling programs. One of the biggest problems we always had was marketing. So that's where the recyclution came through. And the second big issue was always when we did recycling, we had a big contamination rate.
With this recycling program, there are 2 receptacles at each station, totaling about 200 stations. The larger receptacle on the left is for recyclable items, whereas the right receptacle is for all other waste. Even though Zero Sort Recyclution has sparked a lot of interest from both faculties and students, it has also drawn some criticism from others for the way it was introduced and implemented.
To make this plan work, you need to involve the staff and faculty and staff from the very beginning in creating the plan, and that was not done in the case of this recyclution plan.
The program was not adequately thought through, and that there wasn't enough of a good assessment of what was needed, and there wasn't good integration of everybody's ideas to find out what was needed and how the program would work best, how to get everybody to buy into it and make it successful.
I do see also that there is a steep learning curve in figuring out what to put in one bin versus what to put in another bin. And I go out there and I look in the recycling bin and I see a bunch of garbage that's in there, stuff that's that is really belongs in the other bin. So it's taking a while, I think, for people to understand how to separate. It may be, in a couple of months' time, we'll see that people are doing it adequately.
After talking to both faculties, staff, and students, it became evident that the signs are too small to read in order to determine what items belong into what receptacle.
Sometimes the students are so busy, so we don't have time to read the classification. So for us, it's going to be easy if we have pictures.
The bins are very far from the location of the classrooms. There's only one recycling bin and one trash bin on the floor. I think it should be more convenient. There should be more recycling bins in actually each class or just in each area, because people have to walk very far. So I think they should make it more accessible to everyone.
Sometimes the bins are placed in obscure places, so you can't really find them easily. But if they're put in more obvious places, I think we'll be able to recycle more often.
Nonetheless, almost everyone agrees that recycling on campus is a step in a positive direction.
The recycling program is a good idea to more effectively take recyclables and recycle them rather than have them thrown away as trash. And so overall, I think it's an important direction for the university to be moving in. A number of us have thought over the years that too much plastic and various types of paper and cans and metal products were being thrown out with the trash. So I think that it's a good direction to be moving in.
Before we had the recycling program, I used to throw away paperwork and things from class and bottles that I know that were recyclable, but I wasn't going to go out of my way to find somewhere to recycle them. So now that you guys have set up this new program, it's easy to do my part. It's easy for me to recycle. I throw away a lot of paperwork and stuff, so now I can just recycle it, and I feel good about disposing of my recyclables, and I don't have to go out of my way any more than I did before.
I like the fact that they gave us bags to recycle food waste and bottles and like the papers. So instead of every time that I have a bottle, bring it to the barrel, I could just put all my bottles in there, and then when it's full, I could bring it. And I like recycling because it's good for our earth.
I think the recycling program is a good idea, and it's off to a good start, and it's relatively new, so I think it's going well so far.
But UMass Law is not only about recycling. Instead, the university is concerned about the overall sustainability of the environment.
The university has a mission dedicated to regional sustainable development. So if we can't live what we actually preach, that's a problem. We should be a truly sustainable campus here, and to be a sustainable campus, recycling is one part of it. It's not the only part. That's an important part, and there are many others. We could be changing the materials we use on campus, using more recycled materials, using more renewable materials. For example, the plastics used in our cafeterias should be bio-based plastics, because we have the world's leading plastics engineering department in the world that has a dedicated program on green, bio-based, biodegradable plastics. So we should be living what we're teaching and what we're preaching. What we really need to do is make it impossible not to recycle, or not to reduce your use of materials. So for example, putting a 75-cent fee on plastic bags would actually encourage people to use recyclable bags, to bring back their bag. This happened in Ireland, where within 6 months they had eliminated the use of plastic bags in supermarkets when a 75% fee was put on. But if you make it that you get 5 cents back when you recycle, that's not much of an incentive to actually recycle. So you have to make it so that people, I mean, there's two levels. One is obviously educating people at a young age to understand the benefits, that we don't live in an infinite world. We can't put our trash everywhere, so that young people understand culturally that's just what you do. Like in every other culture of the world, recycling and reusing is a part of culture. We have a throwaway culture, so we need to do that. But then we need to make it a disincentive not to recycle. That'll be hard to do with students, but if you start charging, for example, when you get a plastic water bottle, instead of no cents, maybe we should be charging 50 cents for that plastic water bottle to both recycle it and possibly not buy those bottles in the first place.